If you could teach guys like one thing or two things about women, what would it be? What would you tell them?
Don't chase. Don't chase. And don't be afraid of rejection. You know, don't be afraid of rejection. I guess, like, my strategy in college would be every time I would see a hot girl, I'd just go up and talk to her. I didn't care if it was in a fucking grocery store, if it was in a library. Like, if I saw a girl that I found attractive, I would just go talk to her. And I wouldn't go up and say, oh, I think you're beautiful and all that cheesy bullshit. I would just go talk to her about whatever. Like, didn't matter. You just have a conversation with her. See where it went, you know? Sometimes it didn't go anywhere. Sometimes they wouldn't want to give you the time of day. Sometimes you'd have a casual conversation, lead nowhere. But at the end of the day, because I did that, it would just make me more comfortable talking to girls. And it was just kind of a numbers game. So I had, you know, pretty great success. And, you know, I always use the example of my one buddy who was like real conservative, who would only talk to a girl that he knew like really liked him. And, you know, so maybe he would like talk to 2 girls and he would sleep with both of those girls. And I would talk to 100 girls and maybe I'd sleep with 4 of them. But at the end of the day, like, he's batting 1,000, but I'm still fucking twice as many girls as him. So it's like one of those things where I just, you know, I would just put in the time and I would just interact with tons of girls. And now I realize that a better strategy, if you can do it, a lot of guys don't really have their life set up to do it, is set up your life to where the girls have to come to you. And so you don't have to pursue them. And when you don't have to pursue them, like I said earlier, you know, just the dynamic is different when they're chasing you as opposed to you chasing them.
And everyone has more fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's better for the girl because then when she finally sleeps with you, she feels like she accomplished something. And, you know, and she's like kind of worked for it, so she's a little bit invested. And if you hook up with her, it's because, you know, you've chosen to hook up with her and not because you were chasing something, you know. So I think it's better for both people, actually.
How do you keep them all happy? Like, you must have certain...
That's hard, actually. That is actually probably like the most difficult piece of this. Because, yeah, I mean, you gotta like sleep with all these girls. If you don't, then like they get, you know, like upset. So there's like definitely a big sexual obligation, I would say. But you have to, like, if it's, I don't know, it's like, I mean, it's kind of, we could go off on this tangent for a while, but, you know, the girls, I guess, I think it's like 2 to 3 months, and then they usually just like all get too attached. They can't deal with the situation. But up until that point, you know, you have to kind of like, you can't spend too much time with a girl because then that will accelerate that situation. Then she'll get to the point where, you know, she's just too invested and she can't deal with the other girls. So you have to spend like a somewhat limited amount of time with them, but enough time that they're like happy, right? And then you have to keep the rotation so that if, you know, some of them leave, it doesn't matter. And because you're okay with letting them leave and they can date other guys and they can do whatever they want, it makes them not necessarily want to do that as much as if you told them not to and you tried to control them. So it's a whole crazy dynamic. I don't know. It's pretty much like uncharted territory. I was just talking to this girl about this last night.
Yeah, you should write a book about this.
Yeah.
Are there rules?
The rule is honesty. That's my one rule. It's like, you have to be honest with me and I'll be honest with you. You can lie to your boyfriend, you can lie to whoever the fuck you want, your friends, I don't care. But you have to be honest with me and I'll be honest with you. That's pretty much my one rule. So if she asks me a question, I'm just going to tell her the answer. And, you know, so I tell her, you know, if you don't want scary answers, don't ask scary questions, but I'm going to tell you the truth. So, and I think because of that, it's weird. I mean, I think they're so unused to that when they ask you a question, you know, like, oh, like, how many girls have you hooked up with this week? And you tell them the truth. Like, at first they're just like, what the fuck? And then a part of them is kind of like a little bit relieved because they're like, fuck, like, this guy's like gonna be honest with me. Like, I can ask him any question, he's gonna tell me the truth. And I think that's like really rare. Like, I don't think there's many people that are being honest. Like in LA now, they have this whole sugar daddy thing where like the guy's got 5 girlfriends and the girl's got like multiple boyfriends. She's got like 4 dudes paying the same bills. So it's like, if she gets a more expensive apartment, it just means that she just made 3 times more income because 4 guys are paying for that same apartment. You know what I mean? So it's like a whole crazy thing. And they're all lying to each other, and it's this whole nutty situation. But yeah, I think the rarest thing is the honesty. And I think the reason the girls are okay with it, because a lot of people ask that, like why the girls are okay with it, is because of the honesty. And I would choose it too. I would choose honesty over the, possible illusion or the hope of monogamy. You know what I mean? Because they ask me a question, they know I'm going to tell them the truth. So I think there's more value in that than in the pretense of like, I think this guy's monogamous, but I don't know, and I'm going to try and catch him cheating. And I always have it in the back of my mind, like, is he doing that? And then 2 years down the line, they find out that the guy's been cheating on them the whole time. And then they end up like an emotional wreck, and, they've been deceived, and they have all this animosity. I never really have like any bad breakups or any like, negative fallouts with girls. Like, yeah, sometimes like they'll implode and they'll get upset, but like, I never lied to them, and they never like got swindled or like sold a bill of goods. So there's never usually like any animosity at all. So, and I think that's kind of a cool thing.